welcome to the Crafty Historian episode number 18. My name is Rachel and I am a third year history undergraduate at the University of York. You can find me on Ravelry as RachelRavenclaw and on Instagram as RavenclawRachel. There is also a Ravelry group for the podcast. So you can just search the Crafty Historian, or I'll leave a link below. And I also have an Etsy shop, although I'm not sure what's in there at the moment. That is called McGlone's McLovelies. The date is the 3rd of January, so I hope you all had a very lovely end to 2017 and that this year is going to be a good one for you. Thank you to all my returning viewers. I love you so much. And hello to anybody who is new. Things have been okay with me, you can tell. I'm actually back at York. I wasn't home for very long. Well, I was home for most of December, but term doesn't actually start until the 8th. I am just writing my dissertation, so that's fun. We'll deal with that. That's what's going on at the moment. I have half the library out. Yeah. Saw my darling friend Harry just for lunch today, and I have missed him. My lovely, beautiful friend. So that was good. Good to be back. But now the hard work starts. I am wearing a Christmas present. It is not hand knitted, it is from Sainsbury's, but it's really warm and cosy. Alright, it's got some, I don't know if you can see that, but the pink is sparkly. Yeah, the pink is sparkly. I believe, yeah, it's 66% acrylic, 30% polyamide, 2% elastane, 1% polyester, and 1% metallized fibre, which I presume is just a stellina. But it's cool. This is from my lovely mama and I love it. Got to need those cozy jumpers. It is quite chilly up here at the moment. I am wearing a pair of pyjamas. I changed the minute I got back in. So yes. We have some exciting things to talk about today, but I will leave them for the moment, keep you hanging, and sort of jump in with some knitted finished objects. And the first thing that I have to show you sort of snuck in under the radar. I was determined to get them finished before the end of 2018, and these are my Wonder Woman / Star Trek socks. Ta-da! And I love them. This is knit from, I think it's Sirdar Heart and Soul. Heart and Soul? I think it's Heart and Soul. The Dilly Dally colourway. I knit them on 56 stitches over 2.25mm needles, just to see how it worked out. And actually these are possibly, they may be a little bit tight, but they're really close fitting to my feet and I quite like that. So my next pair of socks I might try 60 on the 2.25 and see how that goes, but if not I will go back to the 56 because they feel so, well, not supportive, but it's nice to have that grip. I used some navy Sheepjes Invicta Extra for heel and toes, and I am really happy with this. I knit them toe up. I think I could have made the cuff longer. I don't know why I did the cuff this short. I think it's because I like the red around the top. But yes, so happy with them. They look amazing and they are warm. And I'm just glad to have another pair of socks to wear. and they're slightly nerdy, which I love. But I needed something to knit on that was just for me after the extreme amount of Christmas presents that I made it's last year now. Yes, I gave myself too much to do, I feel. But it's done now, and everyone loved what they got. And these are for me. My second finished object I don't have with me. As I said, it was a Christmas present and all of them have been given. It was my crochet granny square blanket in the blue Stylecraft candy swirl in the shade Bubblegum. No, Blueberry Gum, I think. Blueberry Gum? Blueberry Bubble? Blue Bubble? I don't know. It was the blue one, which was originally for my mum, but it ended up with my friend Emma, and she is sending me pictures over today. So if they appear, I'll insert them here. If not, at some point there will be pictures on my Ravelry. Instead of tassels, as I did with the coconut ice one that I did for my friend Grace, I put pom-poms on this one because Emma likes pom-poms. And those were my finished objects of 2018. Haven't cast anything off yet for 2018, but nor have I cast anything on. I'm trying desperately to clear a pair of needles. This pair of needles, in fact. So you may recognise this is my big project bag. I usually keep something substantial in here, whether it's a hat or, as is in here now, a shawl. You may remember I am knitting the Patronus shawl by Madeline Windsor of Kingfisher Knits, and I cast this on, I believe, I cast this on at the beginning of December as sort of my reward for finishing the term. And it's so close to being finished. It is, I think if I remember correctly, I was somewhere around here and I was really scared of doing the lace. But look at that lace. I didn't even bother with a lifeline on the second one. It was so simple. It was amazing. I adored it. Oh, okay. We've got a bit tangled. And it's really difficult to show because it's an asymmetrical shape with a spine down the middle. Won't say too much because obviously it's a paid for pattern. Although lovely Nikki of the Tea and Possibilities podcast gifted this to me for one of my yarn wishes. But this, no, that's quite good. You can see there. This is how it's looking. And I am on the decreases. So that's a slope there. So this is the square, then it slopes inwards to a point. And I am loving this. This is knit out of Cascade Heritage, I believe, in the wine colour, and Debbonaire yarns in the Marsala Fleck. I'll just bring this in, and they look absolutely gorgeous together. I'm so happy with it. I can't wait to wear it. Last night I needed to go to bed, but I decided instead that I would knit on this. So I knit from down here all the way up, and I want it done. So hopefully by the time you see this again it will be finished. It is a very simple but rewarding garter stitch and lace shawl. I'm just laying it over my lap, you can't see. So we've got the garter stitch sections and this lovely lace, which, as I said, wasn't as complicated as I had anticipated, and I will be looking into doing sort of developing lace as the year progresses. It's one of my knitty goals. I also want to do more cables, so hold me to that. But yeah, I recommend this if you're looking for a nice simple project to do. It's quite mindless, especially if, for example, once you get the stitch pattern down, they count the garter bumps, so you're like, oh, I'll just do that. But obviously if it says to do 4 garter bumps, you're actually doing 8 rows. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. It will need blocking when it's done, which will mean I will have to block it on this disgusting floor. But I'll figure that out when it comes to that. I'll probably lay down a blanket, then a towel, and then the blocking thing. Then this. But it's so soft. I'll have to figure out how to wear it. But that looks so nice. And it goes with the cable hat that I knit with it just before I went home as well. Oh no. There we go. So I will have a nice matching set. This is how much yarn, that's not that yarn, this is how much yarn I've got left over, which is going to be good. Still got a little way to go, but it should all be okay. So that is my shawl, and I love it. Zoop. Doo -doo -doo. Another work in progress living in here, along with some fruit sherbets and a pair of teeny tiny scissors that we bought from the Victoria and Albert Museum. I finally cast on my second cable sock. Now, long-term viewers may remember this from August. I cast this on when I was on holiday in August. I knit the first sock entirely on holiday. It's just a top down with a stranded dye works street art heel and toe. This is Regia by Kaffe Fassett, I believe. I made up my own sort of cable down the front, and then with all the things that happened, I never got round to casting on the second one. So I did it. I cast it on. I've got about 3 more rows of the rib, then I can start. I can put in for the cable and just go. Because once I've marked, because obviously this is going down one side, I need to mark it for the other one. Once that's done, I'll just work down the foot and it should be fine. Because at least now one of my needles are engaged. And therefore I can't cast anything else on because one of these is being used. So these are my usual 56 stitches on 2.75mm needles. And these are the Knit Pro Symphonies. So this is what I'm usually used to knit my socks with. These ones were done with 2.75mm pony needle, no, 2.25mm pony circular needles, which I didn't enjoy the cable, but it worked so much better. And it was better for magic loop as well, because it didn't matter how much you pulled tight, and if you did get a hole, it wasn't big enough to show. So I'm looking forward to getting those done. There's some jangling. I'm keeping a load of progress keepers on a safety pin in there. So that's that. You may have seen I took these out, but that's because that's for a future project which I need to cast on ASAP. And my final work in progress, which is my Cozy Memories blanket. I had promised that I wouldn't show it to you until I got to 4x4, but we're close enough now. I've just got one more square to knit, and I had knit up to all but this one before 2017 on both squares. This one's currently being worked on like that, so I'll put that one down. I believe I'm going to work them all in tandem now, so if I knit one square and one yarn, I will knit immediately the next one, so it saves having to catch up as I did with the quarter or one of the quarters that I showed you. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I'm co-hosting a cow. Rosie of the Pixel Atlantis podcast agreed to run a mini skein cow with me. So we're calling it the Mini Skein Madness Cow because obviously everyone has mini skeins. Well, not obviously, but the vast majority of people have mini skeins. They either got them from advent calendars, or they buy them, or they do swaps. Most people have either a crochet granny blanket, or a Cozy Memories blanket like this that they are working on, and this is here to be the motivation to get you to work on it. It started on the 1st, which is why I said that these were done by the end of December. This is my first mini skein that I'm using, and so I'm using it twice. I believe that counts as one mini skein. We'll have to check with Rosie, but that's one mini skein being used, but I'm using it twice because there will be a prize for the most minis used, as well as 2 randomly selected prizes, one from the chatter thread and one from the finished object thread. Rosie has opened the chatter thread in her podcast group, so I'll link Rosie somewhere, and I will have the finished object thread when I get round to opening it. The way the finished object thread will work is for each project, so for one of these, doesn't matter if it's a whip, because obviously this is a whip. Each project you get an entry for every 50 grams you add, and then I think you mention a running total of minis that you've used in over the course of weeks, and so the one who uses the most mini skeins overall will get a different prize. It sounds confusing, but we'll figure it out. I think I will, when I open the thread, I will put my exemplar at the top. So for example, this is this, and I have used XYZ. If I was going to submit another one, I would do so. I will run it by Rosie, and hopefully I will get back to you later. That'll be an interesting thing to monitor or moderate. But I am so excited to be running a cow. So come knit along with your mini skeins with us. You can do blankets or crazy socks, mini skein socks. I saw a lovely pair from someone on Instagram. I can't remember who she was, but she had the same the same advent calendar as I did from All's Wool That Ends Wool. And her advent socks looked amazing because the advent calendar we got was a gradient advent calendar, so I will show you if I have a dig. So right at the bottom here, yeah. So these are just some of the ones that no, right, I've got 4 here. So they sort of went through the gradient like that and knit up into the socks. They look amazing, absolutely stunning. So yes, I've got these which I can work in, and for some reason the orange, this is very orange. This was like day 2 and I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't know, would orange go there? No. So if you had an advent calendar, you've got about, minimum people have 12 because some people did the 12 days of Christmas. Maximum you've got 20, well, maximum from an advent calendar you've got 24, but I mean, we all have extras, don't we? Some swaps. This is Aileen swap. Don't think I showed this to you, so we'll go through that in a minute. So yes, come and talk to us. At the moment it's just me and Rosie in the chatter thread. Come hang with us, show us your mini skeins. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. So yes, ta-da! And I will be providing a prize. I will be providing the randomly selected prize from the finished object thread, to which I am sewing a bag made of a very lovely fabric, which I'm sure you will love. I'm kind of jealous because I bought the fabric to keep for myself, but I love you guys, so you can have it if you want. And I have also put on order a random selection of mini skeins from Beehive Yarns for you. So yes, that's a tangent from works in progress, but that's all I've been working on at the moment. I do need to cast on, as I said, rapidly, a pair of socks for my mum's birthday. My mum's birthday is the 29th of January, so time is running out. Time is of the essence. I'm going to knit her a pair of paint box socks. This is paint box yarns, and this is Fair Isle Stormy. And it's perfect, it's her colours. I'm going to use a white for toes and heels, so perhaps I'll cast that on today because I need to get that going, although I'm not going to see her until the 3rd. We'll see. I'd like to get them done in time. So that's why these needles came out, because I need to start another pair of socks, and it's nice to have a pair of vanilla socks on the go. Also, this beauty is coming out again. So this is in my University of York swing dance bag, my basic blue cardigan, which you haven't seen since the summer because I stupidly left it at home last term, and I've only knit that, and I cast it on in March, so I really should get a wriggle on because I would like to make more garments, but I'm not casting on anymore until this one's done. So that's upcoming things as well. So moving on, I did a little bit of sewing when I went home. I made a Christmas skirt. It was a lovely fabric I found at home. I know I'd bought the red gold fabric up here, but I forgot about that, and it's still underneath the bed, so Well, no one needs to know. So yes, I made a lovely Christmas skirt. Obviously I don't have it with me, but I will insert a picture here. So yeah, that was just a simple A-line skirt. It was a pattern we got from a Prima magazine, but seriously, any A-line skirts really is just the same. It was my first time doing a concealed zip though, and it turned out really good, and I was ecstatic. Yes. In terms of acquisitions, I got a few, but I left most of them at home. I got these pair of needles, so obviously one of them is in my Cozy Memories blanket. And these are just 3.25mm prim needles, but they are short. Because I was using ones that were about the length of my arm, and they were just getting caught everywhere. Whereas these are much more manageable. So those were from my darling mama. She also got me some Stylecraft head over heels yarn, but I left that at home. And my sister bought me some West Yorkshire Spinners, some West Yorkshire Spinners yarn in the Blue Lagoon colourway, which was really pretty blues and greens. And again, I left that at home because I knew I bought enough for me to do several socks. I bought the blue one for my mother. I bought the Time Traveller socks, which I'm still so excited for. I think I've got an Osterman step, and I've got all West Yorkshire Spinners local yarn shop day up here as well. So I'm fine for socks up here, but we'll see. But the one thing I do have with me is from my darling friend Grace, who came with me to the Yarndale festival. She ran away and bought a yarn basket. Even better, it's Star Trek yarn basket, and it's got Spock and McCoy on it, and I love it. And it is made by Sirdar Knits. So there's a nice thing down there. So it's a Sirdar original at sidecarknits.co.uk, and it's this lovely sturdy basket. It's got a couple of handles, and these are all my mini skeins inside it. So I really want to sort of knit this down. It has my other two quadrants in here as well. So yes. Also, I bought myself a birthday present. I bought myself a selection of mini skeins from Beehive Yarns. So these are just random 10-gram mini skeins, and I love them. So we've got this sparkly one, a navy blue. I don't know what they're called. It's sort of really variegated tealy, magenta purple, lilac, sort of creamy brown, and pale blue with speckles in it. So that was really nice. The rest in here are things like I showed you my Nora George 7-pack that I got. So that's like that. I've shown you my Mothie and the Squid ones that I bought. So I've got the Emma here. Like that. This one, I can't wait to see how this one lifts up. This is, stop moving. This is Flamboyant Cuttlefish. I have to see where that fits in, but I'm really looking forward to that one. And then, as I mentioned, I have my advent calendar, which is yeah, lots of these sort of tonal colours, which will provide a really good contrast, I feel, to everything else that's going on. It's good to just have a dig, I feel. Greens. Anyway, getting distracted. My lovely bag from my lovely friend, and this just sits at the end of my bed now, so I can do exactly that. I can have a dig when I finish a square, or a pair of squares. A pair of squares. I quite like that. Oh yeah, I was going to show you what Aileen got me. So I showed you, she very kindly sent me the Christmas gift of the sprinkle set, but these were the bigger ones that she'd sent that weren't wrapped up so nicely. I can take them out of a plastic bag now. I like how she included the labels as well. So we have some old maiden aunt yarns in the bean nye Nig? Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's lovely green. This one I love. I love this one. This is Easy Knits Deeply Wicked Killer Queen. That is killer. Love that. This is Moppy and the Squid in a jack-o'-lantern with a note that this will bleed. So just okay. This one is a Knit Pick Stroll in County Fair. I like that one. And then some little ones. There was a card. I can't remember what they're called, but that one's really cool as well. And then there's some Scottish tablet made to the traditional Lee's recipe. So yes, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't tasted it yet. It looks a little bit like fudge, but I like fudge, so that's fine. We'll see. I've been assured that it's edible. Right, so that's all I've got to show to you at the moment. I've got a help me section and a history section coming up. So if you're not interested in me talking, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. But here comes a help me. So please still help me stay accountable for what I do this year. I don't want to spend money on yarn for several months. I've got enough to be getting on with. I wrote a list of all the things I want to make for my stash. It was quite a long list and it made me feel quite bad. So I've got one Wool Warehouse order that I ordered on Boxing Day, I think. But apart from that, please do not allow me to buy yarn. If I do come back and say, look, I bought it, tell me off. Because I always find I'm better when I've got someone to be accountable to. Because the next sort of 6 months, I shouldn't be distracting myself with pretty new yarn. I should be buckling down, writing my dissertation, revising for final exams, and I should be able to just knit what I love from a stash that I've already curated. I know that Laura of TinyHumanKnits is doing a Stashalong, and Amy of the Stranded podcast is doing a commercial Yarnalong, both of which I think are fantastic, and I should be able to motivate myself to use what I've got, because it's not like I'm lacking. For a student, I've got an amazing sort of stash. My hobby is turning more into a way of life, so I really want to use it and prove to people like my mother that I will use it and I will love it. She thinks though that I've got enough socks, hand knit socks, and she turns around and goes, another sock? I only have 6, 7 hand knit socks. I've knit a lot for family and friends. For example, this will be my mother's 3rd pair. So yes, I would like you to keep me accountable and perhaps share in the group your sort of crafty goals. So mine is to work from stash. I want to also finish that cardigan, because that's been on for 9 months and I am not even halfway. I'd like to do more cables, more lace. Yeah, so I'd like to sort of just generally further my knitting skills. I think the important things, my main goal this year is to be more comfortable with myself, whether that's in my knitting, in my own skin, being able to look into the mirror and like what I see, be more comfortable with the way I write, things like that. Because I need to love myself before anyone else can. And I like that idea. So I am making time for me this year. And in that I am making time to get comfortable with my knitting, to get comfortable with me. And I know people say comfortable is a bad thing, but I'm always anxious and on edge. I'd like to feel calmer and more safe. So that is my goal for this year, and my help me is to bring you into my life and even make myself more comfortable with that. I don't open up to people very well. I do open up to people really easily, but I find it really difficult to classify what a friend is. So it usually takes someone telling me, you do realise we're friends now, for me to really go, oh okay, yeah, so we're not just acquaintances that are nice to each other then. So yes, if you think I am your friend also, please tell me. I have no idea. That's very rambly, but just basically this year I want to be me, and I want to be proud to be me. So now that's the soppy bit done. On my last podcast I asked if anyone had anything they wanted to know about history, and Amanda asked about what my focus in history is at university. And the way our courses work at the University of York, we don't have a specific focus. You get to choose optional modules, but they're based on what obviously the tutors research. However, I have my own sort of preferences. Obviously medieval you get to past 1400 and I get bored. Well, not bored, but just less interested. But I'm also mainly a historian of culture and intellectual tradition, so sort of ideas, how ideas formulate and cultural symbols permeate, things like that. So that's what my dissertation is on. My dissertation is on the transition of a symbol from pagan to, so from classical to medieval. I've spoken about it before. This guy Boethius, who I'm now calling Boethius because I spend so much time with him, he literally comes before anybody else. And I'm dealing with the Wheel of Fortune, which is this idea and symbol that you can come from the top to the bottom through chance, fate, blind goddess, divine providence. It's the whole thing about my dissertation is there are these things and they mean all of these other things, and this is important because, so yeah, dealing with that. My other module that I'm doing, which I've been doing since September, is York and the Making of Medieval Cities. So last term was a lot of political and economic, and I was bored to tears. Didn't like it. But we're moving on to more of the cultural things. We're doing street plays and sort of the York mystery plays and Chaucer for the first week, and that's much more up my street. I think I'm going to have to go and talk to the convener and say, look, I have a problem, and just go from there. As for specialisation, so that's what we're specialising in. And then my other topic, which I'm starting this term, is a comparative study in how magic is perceived throughout time, which I am so looking forward to. We do a 3-hour seminar on Harry Potter, and considering I went to the Harry Potter History of Magic exhibition at the British Library for my birthday, which was the 16th of December, I have an awareness of what goes on, obviously, but also I've now seen some of the manuscripts we will be studying in person, so things like the Ripley Scroll on how to make the Philosopher's Stone and like the herbal guides and things like that. J.K. Rowling was an incredible researcher when she was doing all of that stuff. The amount that when you go through and you read how much she thought about these things, it's absolutely stunning. So yes, I get to do that. But last year I did the 100 Years' War, which I only dealt with because the lecture was amazing. And then I did something on the Catholic response to Martin Luther and Protestantism and stuff. It kind of bored me to tears, and it reflected in the mark, which was terrible. It's the worst mark I've ever received, because it just didn't interest me. I didn't care. I didn't understand. And then I also did Carolingians, which was my friend Charlemagne. I called them my friend because I spend so much time reading about them, but obviously you can't be friends with dead people. That'd be really weird, but also kind of cool. Make writing so much easier if you just call them up and go, hi, I know you're dead, but answer me this question. But yeah, that Charlemagne module had a lot to do with sort of idea transitions and culture and things, and at that point, when you're dealing with around the 8th and 9th century, politics isn't really a thing. It's kind of like, this is the king, this is the pope. we don't know anything else. So yeah. And the other one I did was Italy 1200 to 1400, which was more political, but it had popes and kings again, which are kind of easy. We weren't really dealing with mayors and peasants. We had the communes, the kings, things like that. It was okay. So yeah, if you're asking what I specialise in, what my focus is passing, preferably with a 2-1 or above. I would like to apply for a Master's in Public History, which is more about the application of history in the wider context of society, so things like museums, archives, commemoration, film and TV, books, things like that, things which non-scholars have access to, because I'm getting fed up of boring men, usually white middle-aged men historians. I just kind of want that contact with other people. I'm sorry if you can hear the plane going over. But yes, apart from that, I deal with culture and intellectual ideas. I try and explain my dissertation to other people, and they just look at me and go, that makes no sense. It's like, you're doing yours on Nazis, that makes no sense to me. Or my friend Harry, who I mentioned at the beginning, he is doing his on religious tolerance in Norman Sicily. It's just like, sounds great. No idea. No idea what's going on. So yes. I think that's it for this week. We'll see how frequently we can get these out. As I said, I should be buckling down, but I mean, it's 47 minutes at the moment, and it doesn't take me long to edit because I'm not fancy. Yeah, it may be once a month, it may be once every other week, who knows. But I will see you when I see you. Please join in with our cow, we would love you forever. Hashtag mini skein madness cow. I'll try and put that in the bottom here. And yes, I hope you have a lovely time, have some good knitting, and I will see you soon. Bye.